Hello everyone, this is Dantas here from the Zero to Hero Academy. Over the years, we have helped multiple professionals either get into the Power Platform market or some of the seasoned professionals within the industry up their game within the low-code technologies. And we are here to announce that we have a special program coming up between March 19th and May 30th. This is the Power Pages and AI Zero to Hero Mentorship Program. Join us, click on the link, access the lessons. You know how we do it. Live lessons on Teams, and then the recorder goes up to YouTube and you can follow if you are in different time zones, but we prefer it to join it live. Connect, ask questions. So go ahead, invite your colleagues, your dad, your mom, your grandpa. Let's everybody join the fun. All right, we'll see you there. Take care. Lesson 1 was already right. Lots of stuff. I can't wait to see what you're gonna show in lesson 2. But yeah, thanks for the time dedicated here, and it's much appreciated.
My pleasure. All right. Should I share my screen or should we
go
wait
for it? Yeah, floor is yours.
Just give me a couple of seconds. All right, please share the screen. Okay, let me know once you can see my screen.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so hello everyone. Once again, welcome back to the Zero to Hero Power Pages and AI Mentorship Challenge. Thanks to all the community heroes. Thanks to all the Power Pages heroes. Thanks to Victor, especially, who is organizing this great mentorship program. If you are new to this learning series, please go and watch Victor Zero to Hero website and his YouTube channel, where he's going to upload all the videos that is presented by all the Power Pages heroes of the community. If you missed my past the last session video, you can also watch or find it in his YouTube channel. So this is the part 2 of what I have already covered in my last session. So I just wanted to give a short introduction if someone is new to this mentorship challenge. My name is Arpit Shrivastava and I'm a Microsoft MVP, 3 times awarded Microsoft MVP and 4 time awarded Microsoft Certified Trainer. I've been doing a lot of interesting stuff related to the Power Platform and the Dynamics 365C since 2012 almost. And I'm having
Hey, Arpit, I think we lost audio for you.
shit. I think I lost, right? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Perfect. Okay. You can see my screen as well, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Okay. So my name is Arpit Shrivastava and I'm a 3 times Microsoft MVP awarded. I'm 4 time Microsoft certified trainer. I've been doing interesting stuff related to the Power Platform and Dynamics 365C since 2012. And I've been sharing knowledge with the community through my blogs, through speaking in various community events, participating in various worldwide events. I'm going to become an author of my book as well. So that is quite new that I'm going to be the author, and it's going to be released in 2024. So just stay tuned on my social media channel. I'll post it. I'll keep you posted that when it's going to be released. Yeah. Okay, so this was the agenda of day one that I discussed. I discussed about the Azure AD B2C, the fundamental concept of it, what are the terminologies and the resources used in the B2C, and how it is integrated with the Power Pages. And then I've taken the example of two use cases. The first one is how the new portal users will be onboarded through the B2C authentication process, and how the existing portal is going to work. Okay. So those who are new to this session, I'm going to give a quick recap of the how I have explained in the last sessions. What are the use cases I have covered? So we'll give a 5 to 6 minutes, just a short recap of what I've already covered. If I talk about the today's agenda, I'm going to discuss few more business use cases. The first one is how the existing B2C user will log into the Power Pages. It might be the possibility like your user is already there in the Azure B2C directory, and they want to onboard or they want to use the Power Pages. Then how the onboarding process will look like, how you can migrate your users from other IDPs to Azure AD B2C. So I'm not going to talk about the other IDPs. I'm going to talk about in the context of Power Pages. So for example, if you already enable the local authentication or some social media integrations is already there, or IDP is already there, then how are you going to migrate it to the B2C? Because Azure AD B2C is the recommended way that Microsoft recommend that to use to the Power Pages. Yeah. And the third requirement that I'm going to discuss is how you can customize the Azure AD B2C default page, which is also one of the most common requirement. Like you have to change the branding of your login and the sign up page based on your client. And there are a couple of additional features that B2C provides. So I'll touch base upon that as well. Like what is API connectors, how you can change the user content in your local language and all. And then of course we can take the questions. Okay. So I'm just skipping all those slide deck that I've already covered. I'm going to share this slide deck with Victor, or I'm going to upload it on my repository as well, so that you can get all the information that I've covered in the previous session if you missed it. Okay. So I'll directly jump into the first business requirement that I discussed yesterday, day before yesterday, sorry. So the first requirement is, yeah. So I'm going to discuss about the use case one. So use case one and use case two, as I already told you, I've already discussed, but just wanted to give a quick recap. Like in the use case one, I described like how the new customer or the new contact in the portal terminology will log into the portal. Okay. So in this case, the contact will not be there in the Dataverse, and the process of authentication will be quite straightforward. They will be landing on the portal page, or you can send them as invitation the login, the URL of your Power Pages site. They will hit the button sign in, and they will be redirected to the Azure AD B2C default sign in page, and here they will find the option sign up now. So if they have already registered on your portal, then they can directly sign in, as you can see, using the login ID and password. Or if they don't have sign up yet, they will click on sign up now, and then they will be redirected to the sign up page of the B2C, and they will fill out the information. Once they will hit create, they will be redirected to the Power Pages site profile page, where you can ask user to provide more information, and then they can start using your Power Pages site. Yeah. So this is the journey of new customer portal look like. Okay. Now, one of the most common use cases was the existing portal customer, because this might be the possibility that your customer is already there in your Dataverse, because it might be possible that initially you have not decided to use the Power Pages in your project, and you already have the customer accounts and everything. Then later on in the project phase, you decided to use the portal. So in that case, you already have the customer in your Dataverse. Then how you can invite them to access the portal? Yeah. So as you know, like the basic concept of the portal is whenever any user register from the portal, whether it's a local or the Azure AD B2C or any IDP provider, there is a contact gets created in the Dataverse, right? So if your contact is already there in the Dataverse, means if the customer is already there in the Dataverse, you may not want to create the duplicate contact, right? You want to associate that existing contact with the new sign up user. So this is one of the most common requirement. And in the local authentication, we had the invitation process. We already know about it. And that works out of box as a manual process. You have to go to the contact. You need to click on the create invitation. Then you have got some internal workflows like sending invitation workflows. Nowadays, you can trigger it from the Power Automate as well. So this was the default process you used to have, in case of local authentication. But now, if you are using the Azure AD B2C, you can't use that local authentication invitation process, right? You have to use the invitation flow of Azure AD B2C. So there are two options I discussed in my last session. The first one, you can send the username and temporary password. Okay. So when you send them the the temporary password along with the username, which is nothing but the email address, and block the user from sign up, right? If you can see in the left picture, there is no sign up option here. So by doing that, you can restrict user that you can't sign up uh, unless we invite you. And this is also beneficial in case of in case of creating some additional registration from the portal, because in one of my project my client wanted to remove the sign up option to create the unnecessary sign up or user creation from the portal. So they only wanted to invite the user and want user to log in through those invitation process. So this is also one of the benefit of removing the sign up option from the website. So by doing that, by sending the username and temporary password, one more setting that I discussed, the force change password. So that setting you need to enable. So I discussed that in my last session, that how you can do that. You have to write a Power Automate and you need to call the Graph API. Okay, so the Graph API is the only way, or PowerShell is also another way. By using that, you can interact with the Azure AD B2C directory users. You can create them, you can delete them, or you can update them, right? Second option, sometimes you don't want to send the temporary password in the email. The second option is you can send them the password reset link along with the email address. So they can simply put their email address, they will verify themselves by the token, and they will be redirected to the password page where they can enter their own password, and then they will be redirected to the Power Pages profile page. Right, by doing these two process or the options, choosing these options, you can link your existing contact with the new registered user. Okay, so these two use cases I covered in my last session. Now today I'm going to discuss about the third use case, that is existing user, existing Azure B2C user portal authentication flow. Now in this case, imagine your company or your client is already using Azure AD B2C for some other applications authentication purpose or some other purposes, but they have not integrated it with the Power Pages. Okay, so there is one use case is user has account in the B2C directory, but the contact is not present in the Dataverse. So that is the one thing. Okay, the second use case could be user has the account in the B2C directory. That means they have already registered through the different mechanism, and the contact is also present in the Dataverse, but they are not linked with each other, right? So this is also can be a case. So first, I'm going to discuss about this use case, existing Azure B2C user. So how it gonna work? So I'll directly jump into the my B2C Azure AD B2C directory. So I'm not going to discuss about how you're going to create it. You can watch my last video where I have discussed, how you can create the B2C tenant, how you can create the user flows and all. All right. So once you navigate to the Azure B2C tenant, then I've already created a user. So for example, like if I go to the user section, so this is the user I've already created. So imagine you already have the user and the password is also there. So this user is also there. So I already have the username and password that is created in the B2C directory. Now this user wants to have the access of my Power Pages site. Okay, so just going to delete it. So I'm going in the Power Pages site. All right. So if I go to the contact, you can see there is no contact available with that email address, right? A Shrivastava 421. So this contact is not present. So first I'm going to demonstrate that. So how you can do that? So first of all, since this user needs to be created in the Dataverse, so it always remember, if you have to create the user or the contact in the Dataverse, you have to go with the you usually need to go with the sign up process, right? But in this case, you can't go with the sign up process, because if you will go with the sign up process, the user will try to create the account in the B2C directory as well. And you will get an error message because your account is already there. Because in the sign up process, in the sign up flow. So if I talk about the sign up flow, okay, so if I use the sign up flow in this scenario, sign up flow do two things. The first thing, it creates the user in the B2C tenant, and it creates the contact in the Dataverse, right? So I cannot use that because I already have the account in B2C. So I have to go with the sign in flow here. Okay, so in the sign in flow, I'll just copy the issuer URL from here, head over to my identity provider, and we'll replace this authority with this. Yeah. And here also, I will just replace this with signing one. Okay. Hopefully it's not any special character here. All right. And here the default policy ID will be my sign in one, right? So, oops. Oh, this is really annoying. So if I go here and put the sign in one here, okay, and we'll save it. So by doing this, what I'm going to do it, whenever user will click on sign in on the portal, they will be redirected to the sign in page, not the sign up page. So I'll sync. And preview. Some people has the confusion like what is the difference between the sync and the preview, and I think Nicholas has recently shared a very good video on that. So if you have made changes in the designer studio, you don't need to go to the sync option, right? You can directly preview to, whatever you made the changes in the design studio, you don't need to sync it. Actually, it will directly reflected on the portal UI by just clicking on the preview. Syncing option is only just to sync the Dataverse changes. So if you have made any changes in the Dataverse, like creating the fields, forms, and any customization, if you have done, then you have to sync that changes. Yeah. So if I go to the portal page, yeah, it's already open. Yeah. So if I refresh that, and if I click on sign in and click on Azure AD B2C, so this will take me to the sign in page. Now you can see there is no sign up option here. And since my user account, the B2C account is already there, so I can directly use the account here. I will directly, because I already have the username and password, right? So, okay. So now the authentication is done from the B2C side, and it takes me directly to the profile page of the portal. So now you can see the information has been directly pulled from the Azure AD B2C, and I can directly click on update, and then the contact will get created. So this is the one way. Now you can see the contact has been created. It might be possible in the second scenario. Let me delete this now. It might be possible that your user account is there in the B2C tenant, and the contact is also there in the Dataverse, but both are not linked with each other. So how you want to map that? So let me create. I'm going to use the same email address here. Say now, if this is the case, when your contact is already there in the Dataverse, and you want to your account is also there in the B2C directory, and you want to link it, there is a site setting that plays a crucial role here. So that is a contact mapping with the email. So this site setting needs to be enabled, or this toggle needs to be turned on in order to identify, because whenever a new user gets created or try to create it in the Dataverse, first it checks whether it's there already, whether it's already that email address contact is already there in the Dataverse or not. If not, then it will create it. If it is already there, then it will map it to the existing one. Okay. All right. So this is done. And now let me go back again to the portal page. Since contact is saved. All right, let me go here. Okay, now if I click on sign in, click on B2C. Okay, I think it's already taken directly from here. So now you can see this contact is already there. Arpit 421 Shrivastava, so it automatically redirected me to this profile page. Yeah. So if the contact is already present, then there will be no duplicate contact will be created. It will be linked with the existing contact, but you make sure that you have enabled that contact mapping site setting. Okay. One important thing about this requirement is there is a option called login claims mapping, right? So what is the difference between this registration and the login claims mapping, right? Because not every time you use the sign up flow, right? So sign up flow, if you use the sign up flow, then your the data gets synced. Like for example, like if you are using the sign up flow and you have shown the job title, first name, last name, email address, and some other fields on the sign up page. So you can just give them in the comma separated form so that it gets so that it can link with your existing contact column values. So for example, like if you want to link the job title of Azure Active Direct B2C field with the job title field of contact table, then you have to use this value. Okay, if you have some other values, you can do the comma separated way. But what is the role of login claims mapping? So login claims mapping, for example, like in this scenario, I have not used the sign up flow, I have used the sign in flow, right? So how in that case my information will be auto populated, right? So as I told you, like I've already created the user in my B2C tenant, and it already has the first name and the last name. For example, if I open the my user in the Active Directory and click on Edit Properties, the first name and last name is already there. So if this user tries to log in to the B2C, and I want that this first name and last name should be auto-populated when the user will be redirected to the profile page, then you need to make sure like you need to provide this claims mapping. Okay. Another important thing is that if it is a first name or the last name or the email address, then you don't need to provide it in the mapping. You only need to provide the mapping for the other fields like city, address, postcode, and all. Okay. So this was the use case number 3, existing user, B2C user portal authentication flow. Okay. Now the use case number 4 is, sorry, I think it's a 4 one. Yeah. Migrate users existing login provider to Azure AD B2C. So it might be possible that you have been using some other identity provider on your portal, and then you wanted to migrate it to the Azure AD B2C. So this is quite crucial requirement because earlier this B2C was not the recommended way. The people have started using the local authentication, and some of the client I see that they are using the local authentication on the productions as well. Okay, so how you can smoothly migrate your existing login provider, whether it's a local authentication or some other IDPs like Facebook, Twitter, Google, Microsoft. If you are already using that, how you can migrate that. Okay, so to do that, I think I've already, so if I just signing it out. All right, so if I click on sign in, can see like I have enabled the local authentication now. And imagine you already using the local authentication and you want to migrate the user to the Azure AD B2C. Okay, so the first option that you can that Microsoft recommend is you first need to deprecate that setting. Okay, so the step 1 is deprecate an existing identity provider. So there is a site setting which is provided by Microsoft that you need to create it to show the deprecate message on top of that identity. So for example, if you have to deprecate the local login, then you need to create that site setting and need to set this value to true. By default, this value is false, but you need to set this value to true. Okay. Or if you are using some other external identity provider like Facebook, Twitter, Microsoft, or Google account, then you need to use the protocol, for example, like OpenID or OpenAuth, the name of the provider called Facebook. Or if you are deprecating the Twitter, then it will be the Twitter, and then use the term deprecated. Okay. So I think I have mistakenly written this. So you need to replace with this. So by doing this setting, you can deprecate the external identity provider as well. Okay. So if I can show you quickly in the my portal account, if I go to the site setting. If I can search it. So you can see like I have already deprecated the local login provider. So what will be the experience of the user if they want to try with the local authentication provider? So I've already registered a user with the local authentication provider. So let me try to log in with the local authentication provider and see how it works. Okay, so as soon as I log in with that, I'll be redirected to this new page, account migration, and it will show like you have signed in with the account which is no longer supported. To continue using this portal, you must migrate to different account. Select the button below to sign in with a new or existing supporting account. So since the alternative option that I've already enabled is B2C, but it might be the Azure Active Directory or some other authentication provider you want to migrate to, right? So since I have already enabled this, so I'm showing this. Now, if you want to change this message, so this one, and this one, so these three messages, you can change it using the content snippet. So you have got three content snippet. This account migration, you can change it with this account conversation page title. So if I go to my content snippet, and here, if you can find it, you'll get this page title. And you can change your value here if you want to display some different message as per your business need. And similarly, for example, sign in with a supported account. If I want to change this, I can simply go to this particular. Let me change it one just to show you how it works. So can search this one. And as you know, like content snippet is language specific. So if you have enabled 4 languages, You can create 4 content snippet in different languages. So sign in with a supported account. You can replace with sign in with Azure AD B2C account. Yeah, save it. So you need to save the changes. Now try again. No, I think it's not. Okay. Yeah, I think it will take some time, so we'll check that later. I already saved that. But if you can make the changes in the site setting in this content snippet, the changes will be reflected here. Okay, so this is the way how you can change this. So by migrating it to the by migrating the existing one to the new provider. Now, since you want user to migrate to the new identity provider, then you want user to use the existing use the new identity provider. So for example, if let me go to the contact. No, I think I need to go to the identity provider and need to change the sign in with the sign up flow. So go to the user flows. So now why I'm using this sign up sign in flow this time? Because if I want to migrate this user, which is having the local account, means its username and password is stored in the Dataverse. So now I want that user should be migrated to the B2C directory. That means I have to create the account in the B2C. So if I have to create the account in the B2C, of course, I have to use the sign up flow. Okay, I cannot use only sign in flow. So I need to copy the URL of sign in flow, then paste it over here. Copy. So whatever issuers you are using, you just need to put it in the comma separated one. Just click on save. Okay, let me try it again. Okay, so if I try with the local account, I will get the error message. And if I click on the Azure AD B2C, it will take me to the sign up page. So this is my sign up page look like. So if I click on the sign up, then I need to provide the email address. Okay. What email address I'm using here? Okay, so I'm using this email arpit@gmail.com. So here, password. Right, if I click on create. Okay, so now you can see like my local account has been migrated to the B2C account. Now, how I will get to know if I head over to the contacts again in the Dataverse, if I open the local account, go to the web authentication, you can see here there is a toggle called local login disable. It's turned on to yes, right? That means it indicate my local authentication has been deprecated and it has been disabled, and a new identity provider has got associated, that is Azure AD B2C. So if I open this, you can see this is the issuer URL of the B2C, right? So now this contact has been linked with Azure AD B2C. It's just not like that you can only have one external identity. As you can see, it's a grid. So you can have multiple external identities associated with that. You can have the Azure AD B2, Azure Active Directory. You can have the external identities like Facebook and Twitter as well, right? So this is how you can do that, how you can migrate your existing identity provider to the new provider. Now there is one more case here. Imagine while migrating your existing identity provider to the Azure AD B2C, you redirect it to the sign up page, right? And you use some other email address, and that email address is already linked in the Dataverse with some other identity. It might be possible, right? You have the two contacts. One contact is linked with one identity and one contact is linked with another entity. So in that case, we have got some more content snippet. So as you can see, when a user select a new identity provider and the identity is already associated with some different contact record. So in that case, the error message appears is this. So this is the heading account conversion error. And this is the description of that message, right? So if you want to change this, you can simply go and go to the content snippet and find this particular content snippet record and can change it accordingly. Okay. And the important thing to remember is this process that I've demonstrated. It's the deprecation message is only coming when I am trying to signing on the portal, right? It's not coming. It doesn't come when you registered on the portal or when you have the invitation link and try to redeem your invitation. Okay. So when you click on sign in, and when you go to the register, if you try to register the account, I've already disabled that for now. But if you register that, then you don't get this option. So that this message says about it. Okay. So deprecated identity provider are not shown when a user register or the redeem an invitation to register on the website. So this is the one way that let customer migrate their existing identity to the new one. But sometimes you don't want customer to show, you don't want to show that message to the customer and don't want to do this kind of manual step. Then what you can do it, you can simply disable this local authentication and then simply send the invitation that I explained in my last session. You can send them the sign up URL with force password reset setting, so that once they will sign up on the first time, they need to create their own password and then they can log in with the account and they will be redirected to the portal. So that is also a second way. So first way, the user will go to the portal, they will see the message, this identity is deprecated, they will migrate by themselves, right? In the second way, you will send them the sign up URL by setting the force change password setting to true. So by doing that, they will be redirected to the sign up page. They will create the user and they will choose the new password and they will be redirected to the portal. So since your contact is already there in the Dataverse, This time also they will be linked with that existing contact. Okay. All right. The next thing is the customized branding of Azure AD B2C page layout. So this is also one of the most common use cases how you can customize the page. So just for the demonstration purpose, I customize the you know the unified sign up sign in page provided by the Azure AD B2C. Why this code I have written here? So it's not about that you can only use the code that is provided by the Microsoft, because Microsoft has also given some templates. So you don't need to write the HTML code or CSS from the scratch in order to design the whole login sign up page or whatever the user flow pages Microsoft provides. But you can create your own HTML, your own CSS as well as per your organization branding. But the important fact is that if you are writing your own HTML, don't forget to include this particular line or don't change this particular line of code, because this line of code indicates that B2C default controls and default content will be included using that. Okay, so whatever you are writing, just add, but don't remove this particular line. I'll show you that in the default template as well. So if you have to change the customize, if you have to customize the branding of B2C, the first thing is that Microsoft has already given some templates. Okay, so how you can get those templates? So first you need to, so this is the URL I've already copied. So in the Git, they have already uploaded the HTML templates of Azure AD B2C. Just head over to the VS Code. Okay, clone repository, enter, downloads, select. So by doing that, I'm exporting all the templates that Microsoft has provided. So if I click on open in new window, so here you can see there is a folder called templates, and in the templates you will see there are three templates: Azure Blue, Classic, and MSA. So the template that you see right now, you can go to and B2C. Okay, so the template that you are seeing in the sign up process, the default icon, the background is blue. So this is called Ocean Blue or the Azure Blue template. Okay, so here you can see the Azure Blue template is nothing. It is just this template. So if you can expand this, you can see there are a couple of HTML files are there. So you need to customize this unified.html file in order to make the changes. So you are here, you can see in this file, you have got some, the styles, right? And if you can just go down, there are some more styles. And this line I was talking about, this will remain as is. Okay, so whatever new HTML element or code you want to add it, you can add just on top of it and just below it, but just don't change this line. Otherwise, your default control will not be loaded. Whatever the out of box user flow like sign up, sign in, or password reset flows provide. Okay. So it's just a straightforward HTML. You can change it as per your need, but how you can customize that? Okay. So this is just an HTML, but here you can see there are some URLs are being referred. For example, like for external identity provider. So for external identity provider, you need to use some kind of background image, right? For example, like Twitter, Google, Microsoft, Facebook, you have to use some icons or the images. So how you can do that? So they have provided some this URL, but this URL you don't need to use it. You have to go to the source, and in the source you get all these references. So if you go to the fonts, these fonts are being referred here. If you go up, you can see this is the one and this is the second font. So these two fonts are being used. There are two types of logos here, the colored logos. So all the social media colored logos are stored in the colored folders, and all the white social media icons are stored in the white folders. So both are referred here also. So you can see Amazon colored one and the white one. Okay. So in the similar way, if we expand the images, some left arrow, some logos are also there. And I think there is one more images, left arrows and all. Yeah, backgrounds. So this is the background image. You can see this is the blue, exactly what is you see in the sign up page. Okay, so whatever images, fonts are there, you will find it in the source folder. And the HTML folder is, this is the main HTML that you have to customize. So how you have to do it? So first of all, you need to extract this folder on your local machine. And then you have a couple of choices. Either you can use the blob storage, you can use the web services, or any other way through which you can get the public URL, because that URL should not be restricted by any sort of authentication. Otherwise, because this page is anonymous, right? You can see like this page is anonymous. So these images and everything should be anonymously accessible. Okay. So how you can do that? So first of all, just go to the storage account. So if you don't have the storage account, you can do that. You need to have the appropriate subscription for that. So go to your Azure portal. So for that, you don't need to go to the B2C directory. So there are two different things, as I discussed in my last session as well. Azure portal and the B2C directory, both are two different services. You need to go to the portal azure.com. If you have to open the B2C tenant, then you go to the B2C tenant from here. But we don't want to do that. We want to create the storage account first. So go to the storage account. I've already created. If you don't have that, you can create it from by just clicking on this link, and it's just a straightforward way. You just need to provide the name, the type, and the resource group, and the location, and your appropriate subscription for that. Okay. So if I open that storage account, in the left panel, you will see a container. Okay. So you need to create a new container just to hold all the files that you have extracted on your local machine. So I've already created a container called B2C container. Yeah. Okay. Now in this B2C container, I have created some folders already. So it's up to you whether you want to create the folder in the same way how Microsoft had extracted on your local machine. So if you can see here on your local machine, the folder structure is like this: templates, and under that you have the source folder, and then you have this template folder, unified HTML. So we only need this particular file from this particular template, and we need the whole source folder. Okay, because the source folder has all the files, fonts, and everything. So we need all folders of source, or the all files of source folder, and we only need this unified.html file, because we want to customize this Azure Blue template, and that is there inside this unified HTML. Okay. So how you can do that? For example, if you want to upload the source folder, so for example, you want to upload the unified file. Okay, so you can just click on the browse, go to downloads, HTML templates, Azure Blue. Just select this file and then upload it. Okay, I'm not going to upload it because it will override my existing one. Or if you want to, for example, create all these files. For example, you want to upload these two files. So just select them, click on open, go to advanced, and you can just put the name same as. So here the name is background. So just rename it, copy it, and then paste it over here. Okay. Now if you click and upload, you will see a background folder gets created, same as like this, and it has two files, right? So why I'm uploading here? So because you don't need to refer this URL, whatever refer in the unified file. So you can see you don't need to use this https loginmicrosoft.com. You need to replace this with the blob storage URL. Okay. So for example, like, so this is the way how you can upload all your files, right? I'm not going to explain all the folders or files, how you have to upload it, but this is the way how you can upload all the files. So like you can see, like I've created the colored folder. It has all the colored images are there. And if you go to the images, I have some logos and the background images as well. And it's not like that you have to use whatever given in the extracted folder. You can have your own, branded images as well as per your business need. All right. So this is how you gonna upload. Then you need to open the unified HTML file. And this unified HTML file, you can click on edit, and here you can see the whole HTML file. Now you can see I have replaced all the URL with the blob storage URL. How you can get that? So for example, like I want to replace this particular URL with my blob storage URL. So I'll head over to my container. We'll go to the fonts, and this is the font I'm going to use. Just go it, and this is the URL I'm going to copy from here. Okay, it's copied. Again, go back to the HTML file, edit, and here you need to replace it. You can see here, I have used this URL. So in the similar way, you have to use this particular font URL and whatever images you are using. Just make sure that everything is stored in your blob storage, and the URL is replaced with that. And if you go down, if you just go up, no, I think it's if you go down, there is a background image. So we want to blue background image with some different. If I go down, yeah. So this is the background image. So I want to replace this blue image with the background image that has shown my book title. So I have replaced this with this URL, and here is the company logo. Okay, so this is the logo of my company. Replace it. And here you can see you have not replaced this particular thing. Whatever changes you have made in this file, you have not touched this one particular. All right. So once you do it, just save it. Okay. And then you need to copy the URL of this as well, because you're gonna refer this URL in your user flows. So you just need to copy it. Now just head over to your B2C flows. So imagine you want to replace the sign up sign in flow. So just open the sign up flow. In the left panel, you see there is a page layout option, and here you have list of pages available, that which layout you want to change. So you see like this layout is for the unified HTML. So this is the unified sign up sign in page. And if you can go down, there is a toggle whether you want to use the custom page URL or you want to use the out of box page URL. So I just turn this toggle to yes and replace my blob storage unified HTML URL to here. Okay. And if you want to enable some social media account as well, so you can enable that as well. So I've already included that. And if I just run the user flow from here and go back. Yeah, so this is how my the main page looks like. Okay. Now there are a lot of things because I have only explained you that how you can change the images and the fonts and everything. But if you have to change the alignment, so for example, in the default sign up sign in page, this pop-up window comes in the center of the page, right? But I have moved it to the right of the page. I've given some shadow effect and all. So how you can do that? For example, like uh, this sign in button always comes at the left alignment. Okay, I have aligned it in the center. So how I can do that? I can simply go to the inspect, and here you can find the element class of it. Okay, so this is the element class of it using this style sheet is being applied here. So just copy this completely, head over to your unified HTML page in the blob storage, click on the edit, just do Control F5 here. So you will see this whole class is available here. Okay, So you just go there and just change your CSS as per your need. Okay, and you can add your own CSS as well. So it's not only that you can customize the existing one. So this is the way how you can how I actually customize the whole page, how I have aligned all the elements, like in the default sign in sign up page, all the elements, shifted at the left direction, but I have aligned it on the center of the page, and everything how I have customized that. All right. In the similar way, you can do for the sign in pages, you can do for the, you know, forget password pages and all. Okay, cool. And then let me go back here, and then case number 6. So that was about how you can customize the page. Now, if you have to integrate your sign up user flows with REST APIs to customize the sign up experience and integrate with the external system. Okay, before explaining this requirement, I just wanted to give you one more thing, because just creating this HTML page and just putting it to the user flow is not enough. There is one important setting that I skipped, is the course setting. Okay, because you don't see this particular URL anywhere, because whenever you hit this URL, you see this particular tenant URL. So it's a cross domain, right? The HTML domain is different because it's a blob storage URL, and this tenant URL is different. This domain is different. So both are different domains. So you need to enable the course setting. Otherwise, your page will not be rendered. Okay. So what you need to do, that after creating the blob storage and uploaded all the files and everything, you just need to go to the settings and just click on the resource sharing course. Okay, and here you can see I have provided provided this particular. So this is the main thing, and this is the HTML URL you need to add here. So just put your URL here. Just replace this D365 CRM org with your tenant. Okay, and this B2C login.com will remain same. You need to replace this with your tenant. And this is the HTML page. And then here you need to select, I have selected all just to avoid any issue, but just make sure you are selecting get and options, especially for this customization. And then in the allowed headers, you need to put extra asterisks, and exposed header, you need to put asterisks. Okay. So just enable these settings, or just add all this URL in the course so that you don't face any issues. Okay, because I spent hours to found the root cause that I have not added these URLs in my course setting, and I was struggling to find that why my pages is not reflecting on the sign up page. Okay, so always remember, you just add these to your course setting. All right. Some important thing is integrate your sign up user flow with REST API, because sometimes you must be wondering, like being a developer, imagine, uh, so this is your B2C page. Okay. And what you want to do it, you want to trigger some external API. So for example, what I wanted, whenever any new user is signing up from the portal, I want to create a new task in the Dataverse, right? Or I want to notify someone in the Microsoft Teams that a new sign up has been occurred, right? Or anything, right? It can be anything, or probably you need to call an API for some additional sort of authentication. For example, like I fill all these details, and when I click on create, by default it will create a contact in the Dataverse, and it will create a user account in the B2C directory. But in between, you want to add some custom logic where you want to verify the user identity from external system. Okay, let me give you one simple example. Imagine your username and password is stored in some other database. Imagine it's a SQL database. Okay, and you want to migrate those user identity to your Azure AD B2C. Now, whenever user will log in with those username and password through the B2C, you want to check, or you want to add some additional layer of security, that whenever user is signing up or the signing from the Azure AD B2C account, you want to first check in the SQL database or any other database, whether these credentials are correct or not. If the credentials are correct, then you want to allow them to do the rest of the process, like creating the contact or creating the account in the B2C. If not, then you want to throw the error message. So this is the one example. The second example, you want to verify this information that have user has put it in this controls. You want to verify something. You want to put additional server side logic or client side validations. You want to call some sort of APIs for that. So for these kind of things, we have a lot of requirements for that, right? So let's discuss few requirements. The first requirement is validate user input data. Okay, so if you have to validate against some invalid user data, for example, you can validate user provided data against existing data in the existing data store, a list of some permitted value. Or if it is invalid, you can ask a user to provide the valid data, or you can block the user from continuing signing up the flow. That is the one requirement. Second requirement, you want to verify the user identity. So use an identity verification service. So imagine you are using some other identity service, but now you have migrated to the B2C, and now to for the extra level of security before creating the account, you want to verify the user identity in the external data sources. Integrate with some custom approval flow. Sometimes whenever a new user is signing up or signing in, you want to have some approval process in between. Once that is approved, then you want to proceed with the flow. By doing that, you want to limit also the account creation in your directory, right? The fourth one is augment tokens with attributes from external sources. You already know, like there are some JWT token or OAuth token is returned by the Azure AD B2C to your Power Pages site. That token itself contains a lot of claims information that B2C return to the Power Pages site to verify the user identity. But sometimes you want to include some other attribute information in that token from some additional cloud data sources. So in that case, you can also use this particular feature. Override user attributes. So sometimes user has written some information in the lower case, for example, their name, their first name or last name, but you want to change like the first letter of that into the capitalized letter, right? So you want to change or override the user attribute. And the last one is the run custom business logic. So you can trigger some events in your cloud system to send some sort of push notification. As I told, like I want to notify or I want to create some task in the data or something kind of that, right? From the auditing perspective or from the permission management. So for these kind of requirements, we have a feature in the B2C called API connector. Okay, so if I head over to my B2C flow, there is a API connector is available. Okay, now how you can create the API connector? Just click on the manage API connector, and here you can provide. Just click on the new API connector. Click on the display name. Just provide a meaningful name. Provide the endpoint URL, and there are two types of authentication type is supported: basic and the certificate. Okay, and for the basic, you need to provide the username and password. For certificate, you need to upload the certificate. So once you do that, so I'm not tried that yet, but I'm just testing it for the Dataverse now. So once you do that, let's go to the administration, the flows. API connector. Now, once you have already created a API connector, you have these options whenever you want to call that API connector. Just choose whenever you want to call that API connector after federating with an identity provider during sign up before creating the user. So if you want to send it for the approval or send some push notification, or you want to create the user in the Active Directory or in the any other data source, you want to do some additional verification, then you can also select that particular API connector here. And before including application claim in the token, right? So these are the three ways how you can call that particular API connector. Okay. So, and one more thing here, the language, how you can change the language. So there are default, some languages are already there in the sign up flow, you will see. There are some default languages are there, but you can add your custom languages. If you have to enable or to change the content of your user flow authentication process, then you first need to enable the language customization. You can add your custom language. Okay. And then, for example, like if you select this, and then here you find the option called page label resource file, and here you can upload your file. So first of all, you can download the template from here. So for example, if you want to change the content of unified sign up and sign in page, you can download the file from here. And then once you make the changes, the translation is done, you can upload it back from here. Okay. So this is the way how you can change your content in your local language as well. There was a question in the last session from the Cyril, like what is exactly the difference between the user flow and the custom policies. Okay, because custom policy is something that I'm not covered because it will take a lot of time. Probably I will set up a different session for that because it is something that is totally customizable things, right? So we have seen a lot of out of box user flows like sign in flow, sign up flows, password reset flows. So we have not touched these flows, how they actually work in the background, right? But sometimes when we have to customize the whole sign up or sign in process, how the Azure AD B2C work, you have to write your own code or you have to you want to have your own control that how the process should work. Then in that case, you have to use the custom policies, right? So the user flows are the predefined configurable authentication process in the B2C. So that we have discussed just now. For example, sign up, sign in, password reset, and all. So you don't need to write any sort of code or any sort of custom code to change the process of it. Okay. And it is basically well suited for straightforward authentication needs within Power Pages. For example, basic sign in, sign up pages where extensive customization is not necessary. Okay. But where the custom policies, which is also called the identity experience framework policies, these are fully configurable policies. So if you have a need of extensive customization and the ability to implement complex identity scenario. So if I talk about in terms of Power Pages, so custom policies are ideal when Power Pages required intricate or the complex authentication logic, the integration with third-party system. So just only you. So for example, when you click on sign in or when you click on sign up, you not only want to verify the user identity into the B2C, you also want to check the user identity from other systems as well, right? So you need to call some sort of APIs or REST APIs. Then in that case, the user flows are not sufficient. You have to write your own custom policies. Okay. One more important thing, if you are calling any REST API in your custom policies, or if you are calling any REST API or custom API in the HTML, whatever we have written to customize the the out of box page design of the login page, make sure you are adding that API to the core setting as well. Otherwise, you will not be able to call that API. Okay. So overall, user flow is best for the straightforward common identity task in the Power Pages where quick setup and standard configuration is required. Wherever custom policy is necessary for advanced, highly customizable authentication scenarios where Power Pages providing the flexibility to meet the complex requirement. Okay, so this is what is the main difference between the user flows and the custom policies. And that's it for today. And hope you find it useful. And thank you so much. Over to you, Victor. I'll happy to take the questions.